friends, this is Katerina from the Evolution of Stitches. Welcome to my channel. This is the second part of my tutorial on how to knit slippers on straight needles. On this part I'm going to show you how to shape the slippers and how to finish off without any sewing. So let's go. This part of the slipper covers the insert of your foot and it starts from the calf up to the toes. For this part I have knitted 8 repeats of the pattern. So this is 16 centimeters or about 6.5 inches. What you need to do is to knit the length you need for your insert. When you do that, please meet me before you start the last repeat of the pattern, because then we will start to decrease the stitches in order to shape the part for the toes. Now I have knitted 7 repeats of the pattern and I'm ready to start the 8th repeat, but when I get to this point I will also start to decrease the number of my stitches, and I'm going to do this in this way. This is the right side of my slipper. I am going to knit this row in the usual way. So please start knitting this row. I will meet you at the center in order to show you once more how to yarn over and create the loop. Now I'm at the point where I should slip this 3rd stitch on the first 2, and I will do it like this. I am going to knit this one, add a yarn over and knit the next one, and I will continue as I would normally do until I get to the end of the row. So I have finished this row. Now I'm going to work the back of the slipper, the wrong side, and here I am going to start decreasing my stitches. What I will do is this: I will slip the first stitch and then I will knit these 2 stitches together purlwise like this. Then I will continue knitting the pattern in the normal way. So here I'm still at the seed stitch pattern. I will knit this one, and here I will purl this one, and then I will purl the next 7 stitches. And I will continue working my pattern in the same way as we knit the back of the slippers until I get here 3 stitches before the end of the row. So please do it and I will meet you here. So I have reached 3 stitches before the end. On this side again I'm going to reduce by knitting 2 stitches together purlwise, and I'm going to knit the last one. So I have finished this row and I have reduced 2 stitches, and in this way there should be 31 stitches here. Please count your stitches, and now please turn and work the front side of the slipper. On the front side we are going to work our stitches according to the pattern. No decreases on the right side of the slippers. What we'll do is this: I'm going to slip the first stitch. Here I have the 2 stitches which I have knitted together, and I'm going to purl them, knit the next one, and the last one is my purl stitch. Now I'm here where I should work 7 knit stitches. I will do it, and I will continue working my row in exactly the same way, following the pattern until I get to the end of the row and work my back side again. So please meet me at the end of the row. I have finished this row. Now I'm ready to work the back side, and again here I'm going to add my decreases. So what I'm going to do is slip the first one, knit these 2 stitches together, purl the next one, and here I'm going to purl all these 7 stitches the way we would normally do it. So please work your stitches until you are 3 stitches before the end of the row, and I will meet you there. Here again I am 3 stitches before the end. I'm going to knit these 2 together purlwise and knit the last one. So now again I have decreased 2 stitches. So now I should have 29 stitches on my needle. Now I'm ready to work the right side of the slipper. Here I'm going to just knit my stitches according to the pattern, so please do it, and I will meet you at the end to show you one more time how to decrease 2 stitches at the back side of the slipper. I have finished this row. Now there are 29 stitches on the needle. What I'm going to do is to decrease my stitches again at the back side. So I'm going to slip the first one and work these 2 together. So now I'm purling these stitches. Please continue working the back side on this row, and I will meet you at the end of this row. Again, one more decrease here at the end of the row, and I'm going to knit the last stitch like this. Now I'm on the right side of the slipper, and according to the pattern I should start one new repeat here, but because for the length I need, this is my last repeat, I'm not going to knit a whole repeat. Let me show you. So I'm going to create this part of the pattern. So for this row I will knit the pattern in the same way as we work this part of the pattern. So please do it, and I will meet you then. So I have finished knitting the right side of the slipper. I'm at the back. Here there are a few things I need to do. First, I will continue knitting 2 decreases on both sides of the slipper. Then I will need to twist this yarn over in order not to create a big hole. As you can see here, the hole is not big when you compare it with the other repeats of the pattern. And also I'm ready to start knitting my garter stitch, which is this part, the part of the toes. So please let me show you exactly what to do. First of all, I'm going to slip the first stitch. We always do that. Now I'm going to knit these 2 together knitwise like this, and I will continue knitting all the stitches until I get to the yarn over. So here is my yarn over. What I'm going to do is to insert my needle from the back like this and twist the yarn over. As you can see, it creates a kind of pretzel, let's say, and now I'm going to knit it. So in this way there is no hole here, and I will continue knitting my stitches until I get to the end of the row, where I will decrease my stitches in the same way as I do it every time. So 3 stitches before the end, I will knit them together like this, knitwise, and I will knit the last one in order to get these V's at the edge of the row. So what I will do now is to continue working garter stitches, meaning that I'm going to knit my stitches on both the right and the wrong side, and I will continue decreasing until there are 11 stitches left. Please do it in the same way, and I will meet you then. As we said, we are going to knit your stitches, and please don't forget to add your decreases at the wrong side of the slipper. I will meet you when there are 11 stitches left. So I have finished my decreases. Now there are 11 stitches on the needle. This is the part of that will cover the upper part of your toes. It's about 4 centimeters or 1.5 inch. I am on the right side of the slipper. What I will need to do now is to purl these stitches, and then I'm going to work the bottom of the slipper, the sole. So now I will need to add increases. Please let me purl these stitches, and when I get to this side I will show you how to add increases. So what I will do is slip the first one and then purl my stitches until I get to the other side. Now I will need to add increases and create the curve for the sole. In order to do that, I'm going to use a hook, and what I will do is to insert my hook on these V's that were created by our last stitch on every row. I will insert the hook between the V, and then I'm going to pull up a loop, turn, and I'm going to place this new loop, and which now is going to be a stitch, on my right needle, and then I will continue purling my stitches until I get to the other side of the row. So please purl your stitches, and I will meet you then to show you how to add an increase on this side. So I have reached the other side. As you can see, this is the wrong side of the slipper. I am going to insert my hook here, pull up a loop, and this loop I am going to place, if it's easier for you, you can first place it on the left needle and then on the right needle, like this. And then you're going to purl your stitches. And now, because we added 2 stitches, there should be 13 stitches on the needle. If you would like to remember how to place the hook and create the increase, a good way is to use stitch markers. So when you are working on the right side of the project, when the right side of the project is nearer you, you are going to insert your hook on this part of the V. So I'm placing stitch marker here in order to remember that. And when you work on the other side, so this is the wrong side, you will need to work from this. Let me do it a few more times so you can see how to proceed. Again, here, so here I need to add a new stitch. I am going to insert my hook on this part of the V, so I'm going to insert my hook here. I'm going to pull up a loop, turn, and place it on the right needle. And now I'm going to purl my stitches until I get to the other side. Pull up your loop so it's smaller, you don't create a big hole. So now here, this is the loop that I pulled up, and I'm going to purl it as well. And now I'm ready to insert my hook and create a new loop. As you can see, my stitch marker is from this side, so I'm going to insert my hook from here, like this, and I'm going to pull up the loop and place it on the right needle. And I'm going to purl my stitches. Until I get to the other side. So please finish your stitches and I will meet you again. I have finished the row. Again, I'm going to insert my hook here, pull up the loop and place it on my right needle. I'm pulling the yarn and I'm going to work my stitches until I get to the other side. I will meet you again here. Again here, I am going to insert the hook on this side, pull up a loop, twist it, and place it on my right needle. And now I'm going to work my stitches. I'm going to purl them until I get to the other side, where I will meet you again and show you how to increase one more stitch. So again here, I'm going to insert my hook on this side of the V, and I know because I have placed this stitch marker, and pull up a loop which I'm going to place on the right needle. There is another way to pull up the stitches. I will show you when I finish this row, but I find using a hook much easier. So please let me finish this row, and when I get here I will show you how to pull up a loop using your needle. So here I am again. If you would like to use your needle in order to pull up a loop and create an increase, what you will need to do is to insert your needle like this and pull up a loop which is now on your right needle, and again you continue working the row until you get to the other side. I find using the hook easier, but it's up to you. So let me finish this row and I will get back to you at the end of it. Again, on this side you can use your needle to create a loop. So check where you should insert your needle, so it's from this side of the V. So you insert your needle like this, you pull up the yarn and you turn the work and work your row. So, as you probably understand, by adding these new loops or stitches, we increase the number of our stitches, and we also create the part that covers the toes. By knitting it the way I showed you, here we create a kind of a line on both sides. What you will need to do is to add increases in this way until there are 27 stitches on your needles. So please add these increases and I will meet you then. So I have continued working my increases. Now there are 27 stitches on my needles. What I will need to do now is this. I have 2 stitches on my left needle, which I'm going to work together. And this is because if I didn't do that, if I didn't decrease my stitches by 1, when I inserted my hook here and created a new stitch, then I would end up with 28 stitches, but I don't want to do that. I want to continue knitting 27 stitches in total. Please let me create this increase like this, and I will explain what I mean. So now if I count my stitches all together, they are 27 stitches. I will continue knitting 27 stitches for the length of the slipper, because in this way I will create the sole, but because I will continue pulling up stitches on these V's and in this way joining the 2 parts of the slipper, the upper part and the sole. This means that every time I reach the end of the row, I will need to knit the last 2 stitches together purlwise. So let me get to the end of this row and I will show you once again. So I'm at the end of the row, 2 stitches remaining on the left needle. All these stitches are 27 stitches. So if I didn't decrease by 1, when I added a new one, I would have 28 stitches, which I don't want. I'm going to knit these 2 stitches together purlwise and add my loop or stitch in this way. On the right needle, and I'm going to continue doing this. Please let me show you what I've done up to now. As you can see, this is the upper part of the slipper. This is the back part, and this is where the toes are. I will need to knit until I get to the heel part, where I'm going to create this heel. I'm going to place my markers again. I'm going to count 6 V's from the end of the rib stitch. So I'm counting 6 V's from here, here, and I'm going to place my stitch marker there, and on the other side here I'm placing my stitch markers where I should insert my hook in order to create the new stitch. So I'll continue knitting 27 stitches and joining the two sides of the slipper until I get here. Please meet me one row before you reach the stitch markers. So what I'm going to do is to insert my hook like this, yarn over, pull through, turn, so I have one loop which I'm going to place on the right needle. Now I'm going to purl my stitches until I get to the other side of the row, to the end of the row. Here again I'm going to knit these two together and I will remove the stitch marker, and now I'm going to insert my hook here, yarn over, pull through, and I'm going to place this stitch on the right needle. So now I will purl the stitches on this row . Here I'm going to decrease for one last time and pull up a stitch. So I am going to insert my hook here, yarn over, pull through, and twist my stitch and place it on the needle. Now I will purl this row and then I'm going to start working on the part of the heel of the slipper. So here I will add my last increase, and now please let me place it on the right needle. Now I'm going to start working the part of the heel, this part, which as you can see curves. So I will need to decrease my stitches. I'm going to decrease my stitches in the way that they create the V's on the side of the pattern. So I have one stitch on my needle. Now I'm going to knit these two together like this. I am going to continue purling my stitches on the row until I get 3 stitches before the end of the row. So let me continue. Here I'm going to knit these two together purlwise and knit the last one. So I turn, I'm going to slip the first stitch. We don't add decreases on this row, we just purl our stitches. So please finish this row and I will meet you one stitch before the end of the row, just to remind you that you should knit this stitch. And now I'm going to turn I'm going to slip one stitch, knit these two stitches together purlwise, and continue until I have 3 stitches here, which these two I'm going to knit together purlwise as well. In this way I'm going to decrease my stitches until I get 11 stitches, the same number I got here. So please do it and I will meet you then. I have finished my decreases. Now there are 11 stitches on my needle. What I'm going to do is turn. This is the right side of my slipper. I'm going to work this row. I'm going to slip the first one as I always do and purl the stitches. And here what I'm going to do is to purl this last stitch. I finished the row. What I'm going to do now is to add increases, and I will do it in the same way that I did it here. So I'm going to take my hook and insert my hook here, yarn over, pull through, twist and turn, and place this stitch on the right needle. And I'm going to purl my stitches until I get to the end of the row. Here again I'm going to purl the last stitch, and here I'm going to insert my hook on this V, yarn over, pull through, twist, turn, and place it on my needle. I will purl the stitches. So please let me finish this row and I will show you once again how to add a new stitch. I finished the row. I'm going to insert my hook here like this, yarn over, pull through, turn, and place it on the right needle. And now I have increased my stitches. Now I have 14 stitches in total with the new one. I am going to work the increases until there are 27 stitches in total, the same number as here. So please do it and I will meet you then. I have finished knitting the part of the heel, as you can see. Now what I need to do is to knit these rows, which will get me to the part of the rib edge stitch, which is the cuff, let's say, of my slipper. Here there are 27 stitches on my needle. I'm ready to work my next row, but because this is my last row of the heel, and as you can see these stitches are a bit loose, what I'm going to do is to insert my hook in the previous stitch, this one, and then I will skip this and insert my hook here also, and I will pull up a loop through both of these stitches, which I'm going to place on my right needle. And now I'm ready to start working my rows. Now there are 28 stitches on my needles, counting this one as well. What I will need to do is to keep the number the same for the rest of my rows. So when I get here, I will knit these two stitches together. So please let me purl these stitches until I get to the last two. I have reached the last two stitches. I'm going to knit them together pairwise, and now I am going to insert my hook here, yarn over, pull through. So a new stitch, and I am going to purl my stitches until I get to the other side of the row. So please do it, and I will meet you once more to show you how to decrease one stitch and how to create a new stitch. I have reached the end of this row again. Now I'm going to knit these two stitches together. In this way there are 27 stitches on my needle again. Stitches, but I'm going to insert my hook here and add a new stitch, which I'm going to decrease when I knit the row and knit the last two together, and I will continue in this way until I get to the first row of the 1 by 1 rib stitch. I have finished this part of the slipper, so now I'm ready to work my 1 by 1 rib stitch. What I'm going to do is to continue joining the sides by pulling up a loop and placing it on the right needle, and when I get to the end of the row I'm just going to knit these two together. So please let me purl my stitches and I will meet you then. Now I'm ready to start working my rows of the 1 by 1 rib stitch. I'm going to knit the same number of rows as on this part, so 18 rows. So what I'm going to do, I have this new stitch on my right needle. I'm going to knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, the way we do it when we work 1 by 1 rib stitch. So please meet me at the end of this row. I'm at the end of the row. I'm going to knit these two together, and now I'm going to pull up a loop and create this stitch. In this way I always have the same number of stitches as I said before, so you will work the rows you need for your 1 by 1 rib stitch, and I will meet you here when you have finished all the rows. I have finished my rows of 1 by 1 rib stitch. I have reached the last row, so now what I will need to do is to cast off my stitches. First I'm going to join this side with this side like this, and now I am going to use my needles in order to cast off my stitches. So what I'll do is to knit two together pairwise, so like this. Now I'm going to place it back on the left needle and knit again two together, again. So this goes back to the left needle and I knit two together purlwise. Please let me finish my casting off, and then I'm going to weave in these ends. I will meet you then to show you the slipper. So this is my pair of slippers. I hope you liked the tutorial and the pattern. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.